Everybody, welcome to Decential's latest episode of NFT or WTF. I'm Matt Leising. I'm co-founder of Decential Media, and I'm here with my partner Neil Berkeley. Hey Neil, how's it going?
I'm good. I think I'm wearing the same sweatshirt I had last time, and now I feel like I have to wear it every time.
Yeah, I feel like you wear that sweatshirt a lot, so
I do. Well, I have
it
several.
looks good on you. It's got some Jedi vibes.
That's my goal.
Yeah. So we are here to discuss three more NFTs today, from both a sort of artistic standpoint and a utility standpoint, and just to sort of spur a conversation around what is actually being put out in an artistic value sort of sense. And so we're going to just kind of get into that in a bit, and we'll kind of say at the end, WTF or NFT.
Yeah, Matt, speaking of NFTs, have you heard of any good NFTs lately? Any new things that no one's ever heard of before or would love to acquire for lots of ether?
I have actually, and this is a kind of a cool one, where it's actually a physical object as well as an NFT. I wrote a book on the history of Ethereum called Out of the Ether, and we have turned that into a special edition where there's only 1,000 copies printed, and they are each available as an NFT. So I'm gonna just.
What does that mean? So what's the? Do you get a physical book?
Yes, yeah, you get a physical book. So this is outoftheether.net is where you can order this. So you'll get a copy just like you see there.
Yeah.
And then once you receive your copy, you get instructions in an email to register it on the Luxo blockchain. And you go through this process with universal profiles. So it's really quick. You set up a universal profile, register your NFT, and then you've got it in your wallet. And you've also got a copy of the book that you can obviously read, put on your nightstand, do whatever you like. So.
And so is that what does the NFT look like? Is there artwork, or is it?
It's basically it's a picture of the book. It's real simple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so it's one of 1,000.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. And is that it's an ERC20 token?
It's the ERC 727 or whatever. It's the newer version.
Cool.
So
that's great.
Yeah, just a quick plug for Luxo. What's that?
Yeah. What is Luxo?
Yeah, Luxo is so that's a blockchain started by Fabian Vogelstetter and Marjorie Hernandez. They are old school Ethereum developers. They were there at the very beginning, and then helped get Ethereum off the ground. And then Luxo is dedicated to fashion and style and art. And so what they're doing is working on wearables in the metaverse. Wow. They're working with huge brands like Chanel and Prada, as well as smaller artists and designers. And it's a proof of stake network, just like Ethereum is about to be. And it's just like, these guys are great. And I really highly recommend checking out Luxo. It's LUKSO.
Maybe we should do our judgmental bit, whether these things are WTF or NFT. It might be good to have some people on. Like let's bring them on and talk to them about what they're doing, and because that fashion thing to me has to be like everything's the next big thing, but wearables. And I'm really curious about when wearables go from like is Chanel going to design weapons? Like how far are they going to take this wearable thing? Because they could do whatever they could design basketball shoes or basketballs. They could do whatever they wanted. Like I'm wondering what their like long-term plan is.
Yeah, I mean, sky's the limit. You could have Smith and Wesson get in there, right? But yeah, I think I'm telling anybody who'll listen that I think this is an absolutely huge market, like $1 trillion market, because it's how you look in the metaverse in kind of that new world that we're talking about, and people want to look good just in real life, and it's like the sky is the limit, and you don't have to the clothes don't have to fit you. You don't have to be in shape. These are avatars. So it's really kind of mind blowing once you start really thinking about it.
Didn't Chanel sell an NFT of a bag for more than the value of the bag? Was that Chanel?
There have been deals like that. I know Dolce and Gabbana did that, where they sold the physical dresses, and then also a wearable for like Decentraland that was the same, version of that dress, but that you have on your avatar. So they're pretty far ahead, in my opinion. Like the fashion houses are much further ahead, I would say, than like Hollywood and a lot of other kind of traditional old school industries.
Wow. That's great.
It's fascinating.
Congratulations, man. That's very cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, buy them while you can. They're going fast. So out of the ether. All right, let's get to the judging. We're going to start here with a classic that everybody should be familiar with, the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Is that from today? That price is today?
This is like loading right now, so it should be. Yeah.
Can you scroll up and click on Bored Ape Yacht Club and let's see what the floor price is on these? Yeah, click on that. So I chose this, and the reason I did is it just seems like to get out of the way, because I feel like this is becoming like 50. Wow. This is becoming like the archetype for these PFPs. Not archetype, but they did it right. And the reason I want to talk about these is it kind of seems like, except for punks and kitties and there's a couple others, but things have really gone quiet on this PFP front. It seems like you're either in Bored Apes and punks or you're not. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but that just feels like what it is. Like even on crypto Twitter, the conversation around all these other projects that were talked about a month ago seems to be like dying away. And correct me if I'm wrong, tweet at me, whatever you want. But the thing I think is fascinating about these, and again, this isn't about the art. They look cool. And yeah, if you have one, you can dig into the personality of it, what it looks like. And there's scarcity or rarity with the different attributes. But to me, the thing they did right, which I know punks did not do, is if you buy one of these, you own that IP. And now we're seeing like there's Jenkins the Valet, which is its own standalone IP, which is going to be huge. Neil Strauss is writing a book for that. The Timbaland is forming a record label to promote Bored Ape bands. There's actually a couple bands that have already formed. Snoop Dogg is getting into this. Jimmy Fallon just bought one, and you know that Nike is going to license one of these and do something with it. So to me, this is the you remember a couple months ago when I said we should buy one of these?
Yeah.
This is, to me, this is the one to have. Like it's a goal. You can either buy a house or buy a Bored Ape someday. But that's what I'm talking about. They've done everything right.
I largely agree with that. And I think I was talking to Ryan Zurrer. We did an interview with him for Decentral, and he goes way back, and he's really smart. He's the guy who bought a Beeple that we're going to get onto for $29 million. And so he's got some really interesting thoughts on NFTs. And the thing he was mentioning to me was that the community-driven projects are the ones that really seem to get traction, like Bored Apes and punks, because you see very little turnover in that community. Once you have one, a lot of these are not up for sale. And I think it's because people realize that this is now going to be my identity through all the different worlds that I'm on, in Twitter or in the metaverse. So it's your calling card, and it's worth, sometimes more than $1 million for people to have this and to really invest both emotional and kind of sentimental feelings into this depiction of yourself in the crypto world. So I think for that, it's really hard. Like that's to get that kind of traction. There's only going to be a couple projects that get that, and I think we've seen them early on so far. And it'll be interesting if like Banksy gets into this, if that's has the same vibe, because I think so much of what makes crypto amazing is it's just ground up. It's like everybody is in it together. It's not necessarily a top down kind of thing.
Well, Banksy just I think it was Christie's. They're selling art for Ether now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this will be the biggest. I think they'll pass punks soon. There's a lot of things I've learned about punks, and again, I'm sure I'll hear about this on Twitter. Like, you don't own the IP, I'm not sure you get all the money or as much of the money when you sell them. Like the Larva Labs, people really like. There's a thing called Funks now, PHUNKS, that are just crypto punks facing the other way, and they're selling for $50,000. They're huge,
Yeah.
and it's this big fu to the punks community. But no, these Bored Apes are amazing. You look at the prices. If you scroll down on this, you'll see the past sales, and I bet this one sold for about 1 ETH 5 months ago. Go down. Those are offers. Go down a little bit further. Keep going. Yeah, right here. So 52 is the last. It's 0.4 ETH 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That guy,
I think we should say
that guy Franksy
people,
had 1,000 at one point.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to say, doing my research after I talked to Ryan, I watched some things that Beeple had said himself, and he made the point that very few NFT projects are going to have value, in the coming years, because it's just like any art. Very few artists, over a long term have their art is valued. It's just like there's so much art out there, and only a very small percentage of it retains its value or even appreciates. So I think that's something that people need to keep in mind. So, if you love it, absolutely go for it. If you're investing in it, you might want to be careful.
Yeah. I mean, what is this? Like, is this Supreme? And how long will Supreme last? Or is this, here's one for our younger audience members. Is this Spuds MacKenzie? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So NFT or WTF, Neil?
Oh, NFT, absolutely. It's got everything. I love it. I love these things.
Yeah.
I'm
NFT
so
for
mad.
me as well. This is
so mad I don't
this
own
is
one.
the standard bearer in a sense.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go to the next one here. This is called Tranquility by an artist known as Mystique, and this is on Rarible.
Yeah, we can watch this play, but I'll jump in. This to me is derivative. Like, I'm not a huge fan of street art, because most street art's derivative. Like, it looks so much like everything else. And this is a great example of, I'm sure this person has a point of view and is a good artist, but it just seems like they did something that looks neat and someone might want. I don't know. This is to me is not like challenging or unique or interesting. Even as art, also as an NFT, technology wise, it doesn't have any utility, doesn't have a community around it. So it doesn't check many of the boxes I would ask NFT art to check these days.
Yeah, I agree with you. And something that was fascinating that we got into on the last episode were some of these NFTs that are basically infinite. They will never repeat, and you can watch them for hours and just kind of get mesmerized. I watched this after once or twice and I'm bored. I would not, I wouldn't want to have this on my wall. It just sort of, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't quite understand the three objects and how they relate. And it's just, it's too bad. I mean, it's not too bad. It's just doesn't speak to me.
Yeah. Again, I hate to sound like we're judging people's artwork, but again, like, if you're going to call something art, that's one thing I've talked about that. I think the NFT world, when it comes to the art, not when it comes to technology and utility, but when it comes to calling something art, I think it could do well with some sort of criticism. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, someone to talk about what is standing out from the pack. I think there will be a voice that does that someday. I think that in some ways that's useful. So who knows? But to me, this is something that, and it's great this person's doing this, but but I think it's also worth someone saying, yeah, I don't really like it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I know what you're going to say, but NFT or WTF?
WTF.
Yeah. All right.
Tranquility.
Let's go. The last one here. And we've mentioned this before. This is Beeple. And this is, I wanted to get a video of this because you really want to be able to get a sense of what you're seeing here. This is Human One by Beeple, which, as we mentioned, Ryan Zurrer bought last week for $29 million in a Christie's auction.
So you wrote about this for Decentral, right?
Yeah.
What's the story? He was at a convention or something?
Well, so if you can tell here, what's fascinating about this to me is this is a 3D object. It's got 4 video screens that are in this frame. And what it does is creating this really smooth, natural illusion of this person in a spacesuit walking through all these different backgrounds that cycle through. And so, this thing has, it's like you can put it in your room, like it's a piece of, not furniture, but it's big, and I find that fascinating, and I love how he was able to use different screens to get that 3D effect going, and I'm actually surprised this didn't surpass 5,000 days as the most expensive, because I find this one just really intriguing.
But the guy was at a convention when he bought it. He bought it on his phone. Is that right?
Oh, he was at a fundraiser for a charity that he supports, and he like ducked into a back room and got on his laptop, and yeah,
That's
he
great.
just like started placing bids, and got the winning bid at 29 million, kind of closed his laptop and went back out to the fundraiser to help raise money for, it's a psychedelic, they're using psychedelics to help like post-traumatic stress disorder and other mental illnesses. So yeah, great story.
Good for him. That's awesome. No, I love this thing. To me, there's reasons why I like this specifically, but I think Beeple is not only the most important NFT artist, but might be the most important artist in the world right now. I know it's a bold statement, but I really think that for so many reasons. And I've thought about writing about this for Essential, because it's a long story why I think that. But this piece is also, it's also generative. It's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to work on this for the rest of his life. So absolutely, this should be worth more than $25 million, $29 million, because this is not just one piece of art. It's going to go on forever. And what's amazing to me about that as an artist is every now and then he's going to dismiss this thing that sold for $29 million and give you a new thing. So he's going to take his Mona Lisa and take it off the wall and destroy it. There'll be photos of it out there. Like, this video on YouTube is still going to live, but that case that has the thing, it's not going to show that anymore. It's going to show something else. And that is like, the Stones are still playing Satisfaction. And the idea that he's just going to start over in this box and make something new for the rest of his life, that's amazing to me. I love that. And yeah, this should have sold for way more than that. And who knows what the next one will, if that guy ever wants to sell it. But no, I think the reason I like Beeple is, unlike Tranquility, who we just saw, and a lot of people, and I would say most PFP projects, is from an art standpoint, Beeple he makes a piece every day of his life, which is amazing. But also he makes his work is so personal and so honest and so him. Like, he really is trying to communicate something, which I think is the whole point of art. So I think he's the best. Have you ever heard him talk?
So I watched him on CNN be interviewed about this one. It's just and the other thing I like is that he's bringing some humor and some kind of like a little bit of tongue-in-cheek ness to crypto, which is sorely needed, I think. One of the pieces Ryan had bought previously from him is called Dick Milking Factory, and you should just look it up. It's really it's hilarious, and it's he's not taking himself too seriously, but like you said, he's having a good time. He's putting the work in, doing something every day, and I think we're at this point with Beeple where he is an artist that people want to collect, and I think with a Bored Ape or a crypto punk kind of, you don't really know who the artist is behind that. It's more of like, that's your icon, but Beeple he has proven himself to people, and I think once you say, oh, I own a Beeple, people know what that means in crypto now, and I think that's fascinating that we're getting to that point.
Yeah, he's a great interview, man. Listen to him on a podcast. He drops an F bomb about every third word. I'm surprised he was able to pull it off on CNN. But he's just a guy.
I'm going to try to get him onto Essential for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to commit to writing something, because I think what he does is like, he's the best. He's the best right now. And I would say, and I will make the argument that he might be the best artist, most important artist in the world.
Yeah, I'll go along with you on that one. I don't have much against that. All right. So obviously NFT, yeah.
NFT, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you going to do you put show notes in the YouTube thing? You should put a link to your NFT and all this stuff in the bottom.
Sure. Yeah, there will be show notes with links to all of these NFTs, and I'll put a link to my book website as well. Great. And please check us out at decential.io. That's DECENTIAL.io. And check back here for another episode of NFT or WTF. Thanks a lot, Neil.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Next time.